too, it gives you a little bit more braking. Just like your Tesla, when they take the foot off the accelerator, they get massive amount of regen, large amount of engine brake. We don't want our lights flashing, so we use it with the brake light as stage 2 regen. When you get to your turnaround point, they're going to help you change the modes. They're going to suggest probably Canyon mode or standard or sport. We have 5 different modes. The sport mode has got the sharpest power curve. It's got the least amount of regen, so it's going to freewheel in the corner a little bit more. With that mode on the red and the off-white bikes, 140 foot-pounds of torque, 110 horsepower, 124 mile-an-hour top speed, all in one gear. A guy on Tuesday said to me, "What gear do I ride in?" The only gear we have. Can't get it wrong, right? Any questions at all for this next group? No? Nope.
For the mode switching, you literally just push the button and that's it?
No, they'll show you, but yeah, you hold the mode down, you change it. But what we want is first, the final part, again, go to your bike, gear up, be ready to roll, play with it, check that throttle engagement piece there, check your mirrors, and then we'll be off and running for this next ride.
Sweet.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Is that you, bud?
That's me, brother. Dude, this is gonna be cool. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Wow, that is an oddly low center of gravity, but like you can feel it starts to get heavy. That's pretty cool. Wow, neat. Good, pretty standard naked bike riding position. Nothing too crazy, but it's good. Kind of weird. The thing's turned off, like it feels that way. Very well balanced, actually. He was not kidding. He mentioned in the thing that it has better balance than a regular bike. It actually does. Yes. Guy asked me if they're electric. You really do have people trying to run into you though, because they can't hear you, which is interesting. Oh wow, this is neat. Very neat. I'm trying to shift already, which he warned us about. Oh, that is cool. When you land to that throttle, it feels very neat. That is cool. So the thing's dead silent. This should be one of the better audio quality videos I've ever had. Pretty cool experience with this lack of noise. I thought I would hate it, not having a good engine note. But a couple advantages, right? So it's a 0, by the way. A couple advantages of not having an engine note. You can hear more around you, which can allow you to potentially see hazards and hear hazards that you wouldn't otherwise have heard. So that's one thing. The other thing is, better for your hearing and less noise pollution and all that stuff. So there definitely are advantages to it. No doubt. No doubt. I need to shift. It's really kind of driving me nuts. Smooth. So he mentioned that the center of gravity is 1.5 inches lower than kind of your comparable motorcycle. Definitely, I think that's very true because it does feel pretty good. Feels very, very well balanced and good handling so far. I mean, it's got Showa suspension, so very good quality suspension. I don't know the weight on it. I should have asked him. I'm assuming it's probably in the 500-pound range, as being that it's electric. That's my guess. Low 5s, high 4s, low 5s. It feels about that. It's got a good center of gravity though, so it actually feels lighter than that unless you really start to tip the bike over and then you can definitely start to feel that weight, you know, pressing against your leg and your arms if you're, you know, trying to straighten it back up. But it's not very heavy, which is good. So. Got regenerative braking turned on right now, which is pretty neat. It's not herky-jerky, but it's regen's a little harder than I want it to. It is adjustable, so that's just completely a settings thing. So not a knock on the bike, but I would like to adjust the regen down a little bit. Personally, I think it's on level 2. I think there's 2 levels, so 1 and 2. I think it's on 2 right now. But the silence is actually kind of nice. I mean, I like an exhaust note as much as the next guy, don't get me wrong, but this isn't bad. Like, this isn't boring because there's no exhaust note. It's got like an interesting little whiny noise when you accelerate. That's kind of cool. It's the electric motor hum. But it's definitely got some good power. They have an RPM gauge on here. It goes to 100 and... Oh no, I'm sorry. There's the digital speedometer, and then there's also, I don't know if you can see it on camera, there's just a digital dial speedometer. I thought that was RPMs, because you do have motor RPM, you know, which is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of probably like 20, 30,000. I don't know. I think electric motors have to spin pretty fast the way that they gear these things. So one nice thing with electric bikes and cars, for that matter, lack of maintenance. I mean, tires, brakes, and even the brakes last a long time because of the regen. You know, fork seals, stuff like that. That's about it. You know, he brought up a really good point. The ride coordinator guy was a Ducati background, and he brought up a good point that you know, if you were to have the dealer do all your work at, you know, 100 something bucks an hour, just for regular maintenance, you know, oil changes and more impactful chain adjustments, stuff like that. This is a belt drive, so it's a little more maintenance free. But anyway, you know, you're gonna spend a lot more money to maintain the thing. This is much cheaper, which is true for basically any electric car or bike. So I fully believe that, which is good. So a lot of benefits. The range is, I think he said 80 miles highway, and then like 170 city. That's of course because of regen and aerodynamics. And then you can add like a battery pack, basically where the gas tank would be if it was a normal bike. If you add that like battery pack thing, then you increase it to 200 and 100 and 200, 100 highway, 200 in city. So that's not terrible. I mean, I would say a lot of people probably go for 100 to 200 mile rides when they go out, especially on a sportier bike like this. So to have a ride where you're or to have a bike that has that level of range, it's very doable, especially if you happen to stop at a destination where you can charge. These do plug into charging stations, as you would expect. You know, you can get the bigger home charger and speed up your charging and all that kind of thing. So there's plenty of options as far as you know, giving yourself the ability to get this thing charged back up if you're on the road or if you're at home. Nice little curve here. Handles pretty darn good. It does exactly what I would expect a naked sport bike to do. I'm very pleased with the handling. The center of gravity being a little lower definitely helps. Well, when you get to these speeds, it doesn't make a huge difference, but it's definitely not worse. So I like it. Got no complaints so far. Of all the bikes I've ridden, I hadn't checked off the electric motorcycle box yet. So I really appreciate that these guys are here. We were sitting in the class and not a single person had ridden one before, or any electric motorcycle before. So, you know, really good advertising and marketing for them. It's got to be well worth the trip. For companies like Harley and Indian and Triumph and Yamaha and Honda and whoever, people have heard about, seen, ridden, touched, felt their bikes for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? So yeah, it's good for them to come to these events, but far less necessary than a company like you know, Zero, who's never ridden a motorcycle before. So, or never, you know, most people have never ridden an electric motorcycle before. So it definitely is a good, idea to have them come here. So I'm glad that for their sake that they chose to. So this is what's weird when you start going slow like this. I mean, it's dead silent. It's like if you hear, I'm talking much quieter than I normally would because there's no there's no noise. The bike's perfectly silent. So if you were gonna kind of like ride around your neighborhood and late at night, I mean, this is obviously the bike for that. It's much better than anything else you're gonna ride because it's so quiet. This guy's like, what the heck are they doing? So we're going to put these in from eco mode into sport mode. Part of this ride, they want you to experience both modes. This is so strange. There's not a single sound. They just put it in sport mode, and it definitely is a lot more powerful now, so that's cool. Wow, good handling bike. So now the regen is also off. Makes it a lot better. Whoa, baby! Dang, she got some cojones, dude. That's awesome. So the regen's off, which is actually nice. Makes it much less herky-jerky. However, regen is good to have for battery life, so you'd want to leave it on in setting 1 probably. But whoa, wow, dude! I actually kind of scared myself a little bit there. That's a lot of power. Wow. Okay. Jeez. You got to be careful on this thing. It just catches you off guard too because there's no gears. It's a lot, it's a lot different power application. So you got to be careful with it. Wow. That's amazing. Very, very cool. Very quick bike. Very quick bike. Top speed's 124, and that's mainly just limited by the fact that there's no gearbox. If it had a gearbox, I'm sure it would go a fair bit faster than that. It's got 140 foot-pounds, 110 horse, which is pretty respectable for any bike. And I mean, that level of torque is, I mean, obviously just stupid. Probably motorcycle leading, short of something that's just obnoxious, Harley build that somebody did with nitrous or something. It's got to be like industry leading. Very, very cool. And then the fact that it's dead silent right now. I know.
Like it felt like a roller coaster when it's quiet.
That's how I described it. Yep. And it's just like it's like a freight train hits you in the ass and just
so easy to ride. If I
so easy to ride. Yeah.
A girlfriend or something, you don't know how to drive a manual.
Oh my god, easy. Put it in eco mode and just send them on it. Yeah. I can't rev it though and make noises.
I also kind of tried to wheel it and it's very hard.
You what?
It doesn't. I think they tune it so that you can't feel it.
Yeah. No, they do. I was talking to the guy about it. It's because of the weight balance and stuff. You can if you really put effort into it. He said.
You gotta balance it.
Yeah. The guy was really chill that I was talking to.
Yeah.
But this thing's pretty sweet. I approve of it. It is. Yeah, he let us get him, and that's nice, dude. I get they have liability, but just give us a good straight and let us feel it, and, But dude, you could easily. This is one of those bikes where you could easily override a turn and just be going way too fast into a turn.
Your speed is an accident.
I know it is.
Be 100 miles an hour, an accident.
Exactly. You got to be careful, man. But if you're careful with it, a lot of fun. You can add a battery pack, he said right here too, to increase your range a little bit.
What is the stock range?
70 to 170, something like that. I've literally given different numbers every single time to that question. Oh, jeez, I love that. Hold on. Wow, 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 wow. That is so cool. That literally feels like a wow. It's like a I don't know, like a roller coaster. I don't know how to describe it. Just so linear and just like whoosh. Dang. They're fast. They're fast. They might only go 124, which by sport bike standards isn't super fast, but I'm sure they get there as fast as anything. Very impressive. I like it. Oh, actually, there is a little bit of regen in this canyon mode. It's just a light amount of regen, so that's good. Very, very cool. Well done, Zero. For what this bike is meant to be, solid 8 out of 10. I wish the range was a little better, charging times, you know, shorter. I mean, that's everybody's thing with electric stuff, right? But it is a little bit hard with the 80 to 100 mile range, or I'm sorry, 80 to 170 mile range, or whatever the heck it was. Wow, I can't even talk. That does make it a little bit trickier, but this bike absolutely has a place. Commuting, just shorter distance rides, you know, carving a canyon, riding around a lake kind of thing. Very fun motorcycle. I totally see where this would benefit. And with gas prices being $5-6 a gallon in places, guess what? Even on a motorcycle, it gets a little expensive to drive around. So this thing would be cheaper. Even if you're plugging into your outlet at home, it's still cheaper. So it's Jake approved. Anyway, I'll end this video. I think we got a good amount of riding in on this thing, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.